afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, featuring today a 2 versus 2 on Rhzhev Frontline. Yes, indeed, we shall be going on to another 2 versus 2. This one slightly different. This map definitely not the Moscow outskirts. We're going to be seeing some ice, some holes in the ice currently, and lots of snow. We shall be watching Chains, Generalhell, and come on, there we go, Chains and Generalhell fighting for the Ost here, for the Wehrmacht, whatever you'd like to call it. Apparently Reddit can't really decide for a name either, but they are there fighting for the 5th SS Panzer Division Viking. Opposing them shall be Longtony, not unlike Short Tony, and Nora. Nora, ever feared amongst the Germans, or probably not. Fighting though for the, I don't know, 10th Guards Tank Corps, rolling out for the motherland, and Comrade Stalin. Always for Comrade Stalin. No one else. Definitely not Trotsky. Anyways, we are seeing a bit of a pioneer push going in from Generalhell towards the right-hand side, whereas Chains is starting out also with 2 pioneers, interestingly enough, though we do see some grenadiers there. And there'll likely be some grenadiers. Oh, and actually an MG42 out there for Chains, so a bit of a different startup right there. Obviously, both German players are intent on gaining much territory early on, less about shooting communists afterwards. Whereas, of course, the other players are going to fit more heavily for conscripts. No! Again, they keep surprising me. Looks like Nora, in this case, goes for the Special Rifle Command and immediately sets about getting a scout sniper squad, calling in a pair of Furies to take on the Germans. The Fritzes. And already here, initial minor skirmish going on here. Combat engineers and pioneers fighting against each other. Combat engineers quick to pull into cover. Pioneers sneaking about. The bit there in the north, and another engagement up here in the centre. Conscripts got engaging the pioneers. The pioneer line firing over their MP40s. On this case, the conscripts look like they will have the upper hand. Fuel falls to the Germans on the right hand side. Grenadiers and conscripts, grenadiers and pioneers linking up. Mortar moving up there. Pioneers pulling up to join up with each other, and we are seeing the MG42 being sent in to support the pioneers with a grenadier squad moving up. And combat engineers coming under combat, and we are seeing a scout car up here for Nora. Scout sniper squad already there getting some shots on the Germans. The M3A1 light scout car moving up. American Lend-Lease vehicle. They also use the half-track, in fact. Although largely they were less used on the front line, which was basically used to get troops there, and then they would usually be shifted around between divisions. They're not quite a permanent addition to most units. But sniper slowly advancing. Pioneer down, and there we go. We also see the 50 caliber on the half track getting 1 pioneer, and there we go. Both Russian players are focusing down the Germans in the west. We are seeing Generalhell moving up his mortar, but already the mortar is running into a bit of problem. Needs to consider getting the devil out of there. In the meanwhile, combat engineer squad doing its best to hold up the Fritzes, but ultimately does not succeed as Generalhell pushes forward to the pioneers and grenadiers, although again half-track scores another kill, and we see the scout sniper squad also in it, creating a very nasty little vehicle right there. Can quickly zip about and shoot Germans. Of course, it's up to Generalhell to end this vicious vehicle in the name of the fatherland. And meanwhile, combat engineers, conscripts fighting, while pioneers have now been equipped with a Flammenwerfer, moving up to deal with these Bolsheviks. The only way there is to be dealing with them, with fire. And there we go, looks like he might be trying to get off a Panzerfaust, and there we go. Panzerfaust scores off a nice hit on the scout car. Does not quite knock it up, definitely limits the mobility. More units arriving, and we're seeing Chains getting a sniper of his own. We're seeing the combat units holding up here against Grenadiers. Grenadiers in trouble. MG42 though holding up the entire right hand side, and the Grenadier squad was overwhelmed by conscripts in the west. The Germans, the 5th SS, are having a problem. Their initial advance is definitely bogging down, though we do see Chains quickly recovering a mortar that was lost. And we quickly see, semi-quickly see the scout car running forward. Another scout sniper squad going to move up to those combat engineers, and likely they can repair it. MG there is going to get a bit exposed, mildly put. 2 grenadiers, 2 MGs. Of course, we also have a mortar, but that one is lost. The recruit by Chains. In fact, it's time to have a look at chains. In 2 versus 2 matches, I will shift a bit more between the two, and we do see Festung armor, Festung support, and Jäger armor. And actually, what did Generalhell have? Largely the same, except Jäger infantry. So, little difference there in doctrines. And again, I mean, with Company 2 and the choices you do see available already, I mean, there is some variation. Some like to go for the assault support, some ignore it. Some really like the Festung doctrine, some, you know, also like the Jäger. So, there's a bit of variety already there going on. It rather depends on what players favour. Scout coming up, they're coming under fire from the MG42, opens up, and of course you also see the sniper score in it. And there we go, gaining veterans 1 due to some all the damage it suffered, but also the damage it's done. And there we go, MG gunner down, shifts about, going to try and get that scout car, fires away. Of course, scout car's basically going to flank up, and there we go, another MG gunner down. This is a bit of a bad move by Generalhell. All we do see, Grenadiers moving up, they might try and get off a Panther Faust and knock it out. There we go, Panther Faust, Flammenwerfer oh! Scout car still pulls it off. Fire pouring over the conscripts. In the meanwhile, on the west, we do see further fighting going on here. Combineers and mortars from Longtony. So he's clearly gone for the support. Grenadiers pushing on there for chains. Mortar firing away. Sniper MGs. In the meanwhile, looks like the east has fallen to the Russians as Nora continues the pressure with conscripts and that scout car sniper combination. Again, the combination of a 50 caliber and a sniper rifle apparently turns out to be quite devastating. But there we go, chains making good progress in the name of the fatherland. More mortar fire going in. Grenadiers pushing up there against the conscripts. And a bit of action going on here as the right hand side falls, but on the other hand, the left hand side is being secured. More mortar fire there, and the Grenadiers and Pioneers are simply getting mortared. And we are seeing the SIS-3 anti-tank gun rolling up, and already they're firing as a bit of artillery, as again they could function like that. Soviet snipers pushing in. Bit of pressure there being applied to the Germans. The 5th SS Viking was not originally there to sort of hold some of the foreign SS, that is, more specifically the Scandinavian, the Norwegian, the Danes, the Swedes, even if the Indians would get, and also the Finns actually, though later on they were actually basically split up, and most of the Scandinavians went on to form the 11th SS Panzer Division Nordland, which rather meant that the Viking still actually had some Scandinavians in it, but largely most of them were transferred over to the Nordland. So, a bit of a fun fact there, but scout snipers pushing on there. Grenadiers under heavy fire from mortars, and of course, those damn scout snipers. And meanwhile, looks like the scout car's getting repaired. The snipers actually left it. We do quickly see some combineers popping in with a flamethrower. MG42 taking up position in that old house by the lake. And a German assault for the mortar crew. Of course, the Soviets having larger mortar crews also have more durable mortar crews. They can stand to be a bit more on their own and thus still have a chance of getting out of there somewhat alive. And in this case, it does succeed. And 3 sniper squads, that's an awful lot, to put it mildly. And there we go, Grenadier squad actually is lost for chains. Tragic. And he's actually floating quite a bit of manpower and fuel. He might want to consider actually expending it towards something like a light mechanized company, or perhaps taking up. And someone's coming under here from the scout car with the flamethrower. Sniper under fire, literally on fire and dead. Veteran D2 for the scout car, increasing weapons damage and also decreasing damage a bit against it, really making it a nasty little bastard. So really nasty work there by Nora, really using the scout car aggressively, but at the same time not too aggressively, also knowing what targets to engage, what targets not to engage, and generally just doing an awful lot of damage. I mean, 10 kills already. I mean, that 50 caliber again is devastating. And there goes seeing the Grenadiers. Oh, it finally goes down. A brave attempt right there by some Grenadiers with a Panther Faust. Stops the reign of terror of the scout car. Mortar round though quickly gets another Grenadier, ruining the festivities a bit. Meanwhile, again, 3 scouts, sniper squads just tearing through the MG crews. Something a bit more serious would be needed, although there are different methods for dealing with snipers. counter-sniping, perhaps not the best one, particularly since the sniper's dead due to fire, but of course there's actually something which you might not think actually does the trick, but surprisingly enough does. And what is that, you ask, Dane? That is rifle grenades. A well-placed rifle grenade is actually highly effective against snipers. Usually, I mean, you can even get an entire squad if you actually land it correctly. Of course, you will lose some men. You can even risk losing the entire squad if you're not careful. But again, a well-placed rifle grenade is actually a surprisingly effective weapon against snipers. And I, for one, quite like that. But usually don't see players actually going that heavy on snipers. And usually if they do, you can, again, usually punish them quite nicely with rifle grenades. Lots of mortar rounds going in there. 2 mortar squads up, including the 120mm mortar up there for Longtony.
It is now under our control.
Germans a bit on the back foot. The assault from the 5th SS has stalled, attempting to destroy a Soviet build-up of forces from the 5th Guards Tank Corps. Was it the 10th? Oh, we'll say 10th. Yeah, sorry about that, but either way, running into a bit of a problem there. And actually a bit of quiet now. Likely because something's going on there. They do see Change finally building something, and looks like Generalhell made a rush. He rushed straight for the heavy Panzer Corps. That's a bit rare, but again, can happen in team games, can happen. But certainly also may have put them in the slightly disadvantaged situation they currently are in. And I imagine the Russians might already be ready to punish the fascists for that mistake. And there we go, we are seeing Tankovi battalion up there. In fact, 2 are. It's like there'll be a bunch of T-34s which could overwhelm any heavy armor that might finally arrive from that heavy Panzer Corps. And meanwhile, Grenadiers holding up the advantage from some conscripts. An MG for the Grenadiers might help a bit, just to increase the firepower considerably. MG holding up a Pioneer assault here, marching through the thick snow, and the Pioneers are just getting gutted. Looks like, oh, so many Pioneers dead and flamethrower tanks on fire. That is definitely not looking very happy. And meanwhile, an assault going in, and again the Soviet sniper squads. Again, sadly no rifle grenades. I mean, in fact, this would have been perfect for a small volley there of them. Well, another Grenadier down. There are no squads wiped out. Also note, he's actually gone for Jaeger infantry and equipped his Grenadiers with Gewehr 43s, which also gives them the ability to interrogate the wounded, though so far I'm actually yet to use the ability, partly because it's so hard to find anyone.
What do you have for us?
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
But there we go, we do see Change getting a scout car, the Leichte Panzerspähwagen, now upgrading it to the 222 with its auto cannon. Moving in against snipers by the looks of things. And there we go, we see a full retreat going in there from Nora. 1 sniper already down to the auto cannon. Scout car trying to move its way through the snow, not quite succeeding. And there we go, anti-tank grenade actually damaged the engine, allowing the snipers to escape. Bit of a shame, bit of a shame. Soviets holding up the center, even the west. There we go, T-34 out from Longtony, T-34 76. Quickly setting the fascist Hitlerites on the run. And we see a Pack 40 out for Chains. That is good. Less good is his lack of current troops. And there we go. Most of, well, in fact, all of Generalhell's Grenadier squads are now equipped with the Gewehr 43. Upgrade. The Gewehr 43 based on the Soviet SVT-40, largely using the techniques there to actually make a semi-automatic rifle. They did have the Gewehr 41, but they rather realized that one was a bit rubbish. But T-34 moving ahead. And we are seeing Nora also getting a T-34. So, and he's already got a... So several tanks actually rolling out. We're seeing 4 T-34s out on the field. And that's actually an overwhelming amount of T-34s, which could actually do a lot of damage to most things. At the same time, a Sturmpanzer IV has been sent in to support the 5th SS. Grenadiers pushing up there. T-34 actually in a bit of trouble, going to get Panther Fausted. And there we go, Sturmpanzer just blast numerous conscripts and combat engineers into the dust. Into the cold, hard and merciless ground. T-34 running into problems. Sturmpanzer could advance and actually just blast it away. Pack 40 has moved in from the other side, gets off a nice hit. Only T-34, but where are the rest of the tanks? Seems to be grouping up there, but they should be a bit careful about that. And T-34 with a destroyed engine. Could go down, could go down. And there we go, T-34-76 is actually abandoned. Sturmpanzer 4 under fire from the MG by the boathouse, or the lake house, whatever. Sturmpanzer 4 looks to be trying to put an end to that. Nonsense. Firing a 15cm howitzer shell. Quickly reminding the MG crew that they have other places to be. Come with us, yeah? I think we need to be over there. And there we go, the 3 T-34-76 is going in after that Sturmpanzer 4. I mean, it can be devastating if it can catch the target, but it has a, well, short range and also slow turning rate. And there we go, 3 T-34s moving in. We do see that Chains recruit the T-34 over there. Side being exposed on the Sturmpanzer 4, and there we go. So many T-34s just blasting away. That one is actually a bit of damage, but already Sturmpanzer 4 is down to half health. This is nicht looking good, meine Herren. Sturmpanzer 4 trying to pull out. We're seeing the ice actually crumbling, and looks like he's trying to ram it. But doesn't quite succeed, but he actually managed to flank. T-34 takes a direct hit from the 15cm gun. A third T-34 rolls out. Another attempt to ram the Sturmpanzer, and it succeeds. Though I question if it was actually necessary, considering how much the Sturmpanzer had already taken damage. But there you go. T-34s are moving in. This one getting repaired. That's definitely going to be needed if they want to turn it against the Bolsheviks. And it's actually time to have a look at Nora, who has gone for the shock rifle frontline tactics, which includes access to the IS-2. Armored car moving in there. Another T-34 rolling in from Longtony. Armored car comes under fire. And there we go. The Sturmpanzer 4 goes down without the loss of a single T-34. Again, aggressive use of the T-34s in this case actually paid off quite well. Grenadiers moving up, but they're out in the ice. They're out in the ice. One squad already went through the ice. My God. And we're seeing incendiary artillery going in so far, though. Oh, there we go. And the Grenadiers. Oh, the inhumanity. Only one Grenadier squad makes it out of there. Just 2 Grenadier squads with Gewehr 43s murdered in seconds. Absolutely devastating. Definitely a few problems there for the Germans. Definitely a few problems. But the remaining T-34s moving out there, and we are so far, I think, looking at 5 T-34-76, really an overwhelming number, and they definitely got it right on how you use the T-34. Again, you get several of them, and then you hit the target from every bleeding angle you can. Really devastating right there. 5th SS rather lacking in panzers at the moment, and the Sturmpanzer 4, which was apparently the only thing you could get to the front at the moment to support its panzer grenadiers, definitely did not work out. We do see that Chains has now created a small mortar battery on the northern side of the lake. T-34's relocating, going to hit another side by the looks of it. Others getting repaired, which is quite needed. More incendiary artillery going in here. The German T-34 definitely needs to get out of there. The Germans actually managed to capture several of them. In one case, they even managed to equip an entire company with them. I believe that was the 2nd SS Panzer Division right before Kursk, where they partly actually captured a T-34 repair workshop, which rather gave them all the spare parts as well to keep it all maintained. So, fun facts there. Someone catching engine fire there from hitting a fire pit. Bit unfortunate. And the Pioneers coming under fire, as we do see several T-34s rolling ahead for the motherland. And there we go, Pioneer down. Moving up towards the central victory point. Mortars continuing to fire away in the hopes of catching some communists, but so far they've yet to manage a single bleeding kill. And the T-34 here looks almost ready. Just needs the engine damage fixed. T-34, though, from the Soviets moving in to deal with that false fascist T-34. Artillery going in here, likely against the Grenadiers. Again, another incendiary barrage. T-34s causing severe havoc on the western flank. We are seeing them, in fact, moving towards here, having done their job. Again, really aggressive use, and again, good usage of the T-34. using the speed, using their numbers to quickly overwhelm the Germans and then move on to the next place, not trying to seek an extended engagement. And then we've got Grenadiers moving across the ice, Veteran T2 Grenadiers with Gewehr 43s, but encountering a Soviet-manned MG-42, getting suppressed, and again the T-34 here just blasts away. We see Generalhell continuing to fight away here, but again heavy fire, T-34s continuing to blast away at the fascists, Hitlerite. And let's return to Generalhell with this Jaeger, who now also has access to the light artillery barrage, firing away some 75mm light infantry cannons, which would prefer to have been in-game guns, but oh well. T-34 here coming under intense fire, could go down to the combined pack, and German T-44 in fact gets abandoned. The crew trying to get out, but ultimately dies. Really nasty stuff. And another incendiary barrage goes down on the two packs. In the meanwhile, two T-34s pushing up the center to the very vulnerable center, getting one mortar crew, MD crew, down. Great usage of the T-34s again, just getting them out everywhere. And again, the whole, rushing for heavy panzers, leaves you very vulnerable in company use too. And again, the Soviet players really exploiting this excellently by using their T-34s so aggressively, although they might want to consider supporting them with a bit of infantry. But overall, nice usage right there. Although looks like the Soviet T-34 went down to German T-34. And there we go, Panzerkampfwagen 5 has finally arrived. Perhaps might save the 5th SS from a total defeat, which I'm sure something Generalhell will welcome. Oops. And he could consider upgrading some of his grenadiers, with not with Gewehr 43s, with the LMG. Again, also very effective weapon. T-34 coming under fire. Panther rolls forwards, getting the MG gunner, and there we go. Now what the Russians need to do is actually overwhelm the Panther again, perhaps even ram it. But no, the T-34s are splitting up. The T-34s are splitting up. They're actually giving the Panther the advantage here. And looks like a Panzerfaust immobilized the T-34. That would hit an anti-tank gun. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, problems for the Soviets. The T-34s are strung out all over the place. And they definitely made a mistake by sending that one away to leave the other one unsupported. So that's actually giving the Germans a huge advantage. Again, when you have all those tanks again, use their numbers to your advantage. Don't, Also, a thing to remember, incendiary barrages do nothing against tanks. Just a reminder. And I do believe it's actually time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation, the Germans have definitely been under a lot of pressure. The T-34s have done terrible damage to the front lines. They've cost them a lot of infantry, a lot of, well, I wouldn't say armor because they really haven't had any on the field, but still a lot of infantry down. We do finally see some more elite Panzer Grenadiers, the more veteran troops of the division pouring out. But again, they need some armor to support it, or some more packs, though I think in this case armor would be a bit more beneficial. Again, Generalhell might want to consider upgrading some of his grenadiers. Panther, though, is currently their top priority to keep alive, as that's rather their really one chance of doing some solid damage to the T-34s. On the other hand, for the Soviets, they need to keep it together. They need to focus it down. And again, they need to stop splitting up whenever they encounter the Panther, because rather, had they focused all 3 T-34s right there on it, and had one ram it, they probably could have already render it a lot less useful and had a chance of actually knocking it out permanently, or at least putting it out of the game for enough time to pull in more armor, more reinforcement, more problem for the fascists. Instead, they split up and rather allowed the Panther to take them out one by one. So in that sense, it did not quite work out, and like a Hollywood horror movie, it took them out one by one. So again, strength in numbers, quantity has a quality in all in its own, and so on. But the Germans need to keep that Panther alive again. That's going to be the Russians' initial main priority. Otherwise, they would largely gut it, largely been able to keep the fuel and such other fun matters. And of course, again, Soviets need to focus their armor. They need to push in, and they need to be aggressive. Also, perhaps less snipers now. Just a thought. Chains need to begin using some of his resources, need to get some armor, perhaps some Stuks and Panzer IV, perhaps a Panzerwerfer might help him, and, well, Generalhell, again, yeah, upgrade, protect the Panther, shoot up some communists. Let's get back to the fight. And of course, we do also see that Chains, of course, already has one tank, his T-34. Oh no! Mortar rounds took out the ice. It goes down like the Titanic. If the Titanic had been a tank and not a huge cruise ship, but nonetheless, oh dear. Again, always be careful around the ice. That definitely worked out quite nicely. We've got the T-34 getting spotted again. Horror movie star, the Panther breaches forth. And there we go, T-34 heroically going to sacrifice itself in the hopes of disabling the Panther. Oh, it didn't. Oh, it got engine damage instead and lost speed. And now the Panther's going to get it again. Yeah. But the Panther's out in the ice. If they could knock out the ice with the 120mm, they could perhaps pull it off, but no. Another T-34 lost. Wasteful armor tactics right there for the Soviets. Grenadiers moving up, and Panzerfaust T-34 out of control. And the Panther lives to see another day. Which clearly should not have been the case had the Soviets done their job. But another T-34 getting repaired. Well, recruit, but not quite yet repaired. I definitely not want to be the Panzer crew inside that T-34 at the moment, since it's pretty much on fire all the place. Hey, Heinz, is it supposed to smell of burning bratwurst in here? I don't think so, Fritz. And there we go, we see Nora has gotten himself an IS-2, the Joseph Stalin II tank. Going to roll out, and already there we do see the heavy machine gun mount has been added. Definitely going to increase the nastiness of it. And we do see a Sturmgeschütz rolling out for chains. The Stug 3G. T-34 not getting repaired though. Panther pulling back. Looks like they are consolidating their forces for one major push. And we also note here that Longtony has gotten himself a T-34-85. Oh, right, hang on. Right, forgot about player colours. So, yeah, sorry about doing it this late, but better late than never. So now we can tell them apart a bit better. A bit, anyways. But there you go, T-34-85. So you also know that Longtony has gone for the Guards motor doctrine. Of course, the 120mm also gave that away. Of course, they should keep the two tanks working together, and they could perhaps get the Panther with it. If the IS-2 engages it from the front, the T-34-85 should flank it. And that could actually mean the end of the Panther, although we do see a Stug right there, so perhaps not. Perhaps in that case, it should pull back, and again, wait for numbers. Strength in numbers when you're playing the Soviets. Already there. Nice flank hit on the Panther. Really doing quite a bit of damage right there. And then we got another hit. Panther already down to half health. Stug moves up. Where's the T-34-85? Got him, Himmel, or something Russian. Longtony. Stug, though, opens up with his 75mm cannon. Panther pulls away. IS-2 taking heavy damage. Gunner injured. Why is that T-34-85 not supporting? What is it doing? Comrade Stalin is not pleased. A tank sharing his name is not being supported properly by other tanks not sharing his name. And there we go. Note how quickly actually the Stug takes heavy damage, but again, Longtony needs to stop playing around. He needs to focus it down. He needs to aid his teammate. No, don't change the targets. Don't change the targets. Oh, they can't decide on targeting. That's actually a huge problem. Very large. Again, they failed to knock out the Stug, and there we go. Stuka drop, but the Stuka drop missed. By the looks of it, the Luftwaffe failed to get the target, and again, Longtony turned the tank around. That was a very poor armored engagement right there from the Soviets. They could have gotten the Stug, and they could have gotten the Panther. Look how much damage the IS-2 did. Look how much these T-34-85 helped them again. The T-34-85 has gotten even more powerful with the latest patch, and again, they failed to win this engagement. This is pretty much on their shoulders alone. Because again, they could have gotten that Stug easily if again he just focused it down, and then they could have gone after the Panther, but no, he decided to suddenly switch his target. I mean, finish off what you begin. Don't suddenly decide, oh right, well I'll just let that Stug get away. No, knock it out, Vasily. Otherwise, Comrade Stalin will have to have a serious talk with your family, and then give you a new one. And there we go, snipers firing at the Grenadiers. Grenadiers need to get out there. Come on, change, Rückzug. Save your men. It is not good for morale otherwise. But heavy mortar fire going in there. Grenadiers getting spotted in the center there by the MG42. The MG42 getting fired on by another MG42. Stuke getting repaired. Panther getting repaired. IS-2 getting repaired. T-34-85 getting repaired. That's good. Also, I can't help but think that the T-34-85 actually looks like a tiny IS-2. Well, that's just probably me. Oops, microphone needs to be a bit further away. T-34 moves ahead, and we're seeing a second T-34-85 up there from Longtony. And there we go, both firing away. Really doing a lot of damage here to the T-34. One more hit could probably knock it out. 2 more hits. And there we go. And the IS-2's moving ahead, not fully repaired. Oh, careful, 4-6. Though again, a coordinated assault by the 2 could actually pull it off, I think. Then again, they should probably wait for that T-35 to get repaired on the IS-2. But again, a full assault right up here could probably do it. Then again, it might just be too late as Generalhell finally got himself a second Panther. 5th SS is clearly now strong in the fight. And again, the Soviets absolutely missed out on a great opportunity to do some serious damage. Again, that is pretty much on their own heads. Or what will be left of their heads once Comrade Stalin is done with them. More T-34-85s. I mean, that's 3 T-34-85s. That's definitely going to be a nasty little thing. Grenadiers getting caught out in the open there by the IS-2. Could end up very dangerously. The IS-2, by the way, needs to pull away. It's exposed. T-34-85 move ahead. Stuke taking a nasty hit right there. Could go down. And now the Soviets actually retreating in the face of this. Oh, sniper got crushed. The Stuke crushed the sniper. Got another sniper. Lovely. And then it got knocked out and the crew killed. Not looking good there, not looking good. Other T-34 so quickly in shape again. Possibly due to the self-repairability, which they gained with the Guards Motor Doctrine, by the way. In fact, note right here, vehicle crew repair training in can be quite useful in keeping your T-34s quicker combat operational. Panthers are advancing, opening up on the Soviet tanks. And again, now he's just sending them in piecemeal against the Panthers. They should have again deployed in numbers when they had the chance. And definitely he should have been trying to flank them and they would have had the perfect opportunity. In fact, let me just pause and point out. There's a huge nice route here. He could have tried to move up them and then hit the Panthers in the rear with those 3 T-34-85s. They could probably have done it, but again, Longtony clearly not quite having the spirit of a Guards tank commander. And thus being a bit too passive with his T-34-85s and thus not getting the full deal out of them. Again, they actually do quite a lot of damage, considering their price as well. Plus, again, they also have turrets. And now we go T-34-85 down. IS-2 exposed in the rear. This is really going to hell right now for the Soviets. So many tanks just bursting into flames as the Panthers advance. And 3 mortars out here, that's definitely a bit excessive. And there we go. All 3 T-34s and the IS-2 went down. Again, absolutely wasteful, disgraceful right there by the Soviet commanders. Heavy mortar crew here coming out of fast from Grenadiers. Panthers look to be pulling back to deal with that as well, although they have suffered engine damage. On this case, lost the MG gun up the top. Panther also looks to be pulling back. It looks like the 5th SS has broken the resistance of the Soviet army, although also looks like the Soviets aren't quite out of the fight yet. But we are seeing them in full retreat. The front line lines being abandoned. And we are seeing a second IS-2 now out for Nora. A second IS-2. But again, we'll need some more support than just that. Blizzard ends. Generalhell's Grenadiers once more get ready for the fight. Panther takes a hit in the rear there from the IS-2. Might the IS-2 be able to knock it out? down to half health, but of course already there. The second Panther is within range. IS-2 needs to pull back. And looks like artillery going in right there. Snipers getting too close. Stuka bombing run. And a Stuka Kanonenvogel going in for some tank destroyer movements. Another T-34 moves in, and Panzerwerfer. So much artillery going in. And there we go. The combat engineers trying to repair, coming under fire there. And we do see the IS-2 gunner blasting away. And he's trying to get the Stuka Kanonenvogel. And another strafing run going in there. Clearing out one of the scout snipers, causing more damage. T-34 though is on the field, but will need more of its comrades. Panther pulls in. And the last pass there from the Stuka knocked it out. Well, that was definitely dreadful. And now the Panther, by the way, is virtually making it a bit tougher to actually knock out. And the T-34 probably realizes this and pulls back. 2 120mm fires away. But most of the map has been lost to the Germans. The 5th SS advances in style. And there we go, T-34 pulling back. No, he's trying to ram it. He's trying to ram it and pulls it off, but only with a damaged engine while he himself gets immobilized. That's a little less fortunate. And we are seeing a Tiger ramming for Chains. Chains deciding no longer is the time to fool around. Vorwärts mit schweres Panzer. Ooh, artillery getting called in. A light artillery barrage looks like it might be knocking out the T-34, and it does so. Lovely done.
The enemy has destroyed one of our vehicles.
Snipers getting killed. Definitely not really doing a lot now. Anti-tank guns getting called in. Fuel cask getting wrecked. Anti-tank guns getting wrecked. The story remains of the front line of the 10th Guards Tank Corps. Some more infantry is being pushed in from nearby rifle divisions now to try and plug the gaps. And having Nora, who has, well, pretty much nothing left. Likely going to try and get another IS-2. Seems to be it. And there we go. A third Joseph Stalin tank rolling in.
We have 200 points remaining.
And the Tiger just going hunting for snipers, since there's not really much left for it to kill. Definitely never a good thing. And artillery getting called in on the anti-tank gun. Will Longtony note it? No! Light artillery begins to shatter the crew into tiny bits. And there we go, it is completely gone. Tiger makes a push for the German base. Soviet base, I mean. Catches some combat engineers out in the open. Quickly ends one of them. There we go, 120mm of mortars firing away. Though having a bit of trouble actually penetrating the top armor of the Tiger tank. That does seem to be actually suitably threatened and pulls away. Combat engineers going for that victory point are met with 2 very upset Panthers. And end up finding themselves rather dead. And there we go, the third IS-2 pulls forward. Heavy rocket artillery shatters the Soviet base infantry. And a last IS-2 moves ahead. Might try and get the Tiger. There we go. Nice rear hit. Nice rear hit there on the Panzerkampfwagen 6. And what is this? An no, that's a Sturmpanzer ramming for change. A Sturmpanzer. Fascinating. Conscripts though fighting over here, getting blasted to bits. Will the Russians somehow be able to muster a last assault force to perhaps break through? Or have they lost their chance again with that one fateful armoured engagement much earlier on? And Generalhell getting an elephant tank destroyer. Slowly but surely rolling forwards. And looks like Longtony preparing himself with several anti-tank guns, or field guns as they technically were, since they could also function as artillery. Grenadiers moving out with MGs, except Generalhell. He's not bothered upgrading them, sadly enough. Would probably been a nice move. Would have been a nice move. Looks like this could be the engagement to end all engagements. Armor rolling forwards, except the Tiger, which is rolling the other way. Fuel caches getting wrecked. The Panthers having none of that. And there we go, moving forwards. Panthers coming under heavy fire. Anti-tank grenades getting unleashed. And there we go, heavy rocket barrage going in return. Not really doing a lot to the Soviet anti-tank gun crews, which I imagine were the intended target, but does allow the Panthers to escape, including the veterans who took close to half health.
Made the ultimate sacrifice.
Elephant trundles forward. Originally called the Ferdinand after its inventor or creator Ferdinand Porsche. Not a lot were made, and they rather discovered in their first usage during Kursk that they rather had some problems, including the lack of a machine gun, so it was pulled back for some refitting and then put out onto the field again. Though they did manage to destroy a surprisingly large number of tanks, so they were not all rubbish. They rather depended on how you used them.
Awaiting orders.
But there we go, that's definitely one armoured assault force going in there from the 5th SS against the 10th Guards Tank Corps. And there we go, anti-tank guns firing here, but of course remember there's those Panzer Werfers. IS-2 rolls forward. Elephant firing away as well. Though not at the IS-2, interestingly enough. Rockets going in, the anti-tank guns perhaps a bit too close. One crew already down. Panther taking heavy damage. Stuka going in. Destroying one of the anti-tank guns completely and utterly beyond recruiting. Conscript squad goes down to the Tiger tank. Panthers continue to fire away. IS-2 down, almost. The only thing holding it together is Comrade Stalin's sheer iron will. And there we go. IS-2 is down. In fact, abandoned. Sturmpanzer 4 pushes up the flank, rolling up the defenses there with its 15mm or centimeter gun. And that pretty much looks to be it. The Russians have been utterly crushed. In this case, the whole kicking in the rotten door and the whole rotten house falls together apparently worked. It did take them a bit of time to actually muster the boot to do it with. And there we go, playback over. Quite the engagement, quite some losses, and again, quite some missed opportunities by the Soviets. Again, I really think this engagement over here with the IS-2 and the T-3045 against the Panther and the Stuk was an absolute fumble there by the Soviets. Had they pushed in a bit aggressively, had they decided to just stay on their bleeding targets, they could have gotten the Stuk, then they could have focused down the Panther, and then the Germans would have been in a lot more trouble. That's for sure, but instead, for some reason, they pulled back. They also failed to then all of a sudden gain proper cohesiveness with the tanks which they had earlier on. And slowly but surely the Germans advanced, simply just pushing through it, because again, all of a sudden, the Russians just seemed to panic and lose all will. So again, you know, remember when fighting against Panthers, all that, you know, remember, stay on target, flank, use numbers. Again, they rather did so well against the Sturmpanzer IV, but again, against other stuff, they just seemed to completely lose it, which was a bit of a shame, to put it mildly. As again, I think they could have done so quite nicely had they had the resolve and the faith in Comrade Stalin to do so. Instead, though, the Germans triumphed, though again, we should again note that the just rushing for the heavy armor corps will not guarantee you victory. In this case, they were again very close to losing, but ultimately again, they were able to capitalize on their opponent's mistakes and pull through. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own? This is Imperial Dane, saying...